Hello everyone, welcome to my vlog. My name is Rafal, and today's vlog I would like to dedicate it and answer some of your questions. I actually made a post a while ago where I asked you guys to send me questions, and you guys were able to ask me anything. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone for sending those questions. I got a lot of them. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go through all of them. I picked 10 questions which in my opinion were the most interesting ones and the ones which they pretty much overlap each other. So I was trying to kind of like pick something which gonna give you the most value, and I tried to kind of go through them fairly quickly. On some of those topics I could talk for a long time, so I'm trying to avoid that, but give you the most I would say valuable answers which gonna help you to kind of like get the answer for the stuff which you guys are asking. So let's jump into it and let's talk about those things. Okay, so the first question came from Kevin, and he is asking, who inspired you when you started photography and who inspires you now? How has your work evolved and why? So I'll try to be very quick on this one. So there's 4 photographers, headshot photographers, who inspire me from the day one since I started shooting headshots. So the names are Dylan Patrick, Christian Webb, Peter Hurley, and Stephanie Gerard. I was lucky enough to have an interview with them, and they've been inspiring me for years. And till today, those are the photographers, headshot photographers, who I look up to. I follow their work. They inspire me, and yeah, those are the guys who are masters in this craft. So I highly recommend it to check out their work. I'm sure you guys will find a lot of cool stuff about them. So the second portion of the question is, how's your work evolve and why? So I think, like everyone who is shooting a lot, and if you jump into certain genre in photography, you have to evolve. Like if you're not evolving, that means you're doing something wrong. And that's, I think, is a typical process for all of us, because we throughout those sessions and the photo shoots, and then doing different things, we learn, and then we basically trying to do different things, and then we eliminated things which we don't like, and we focus on those things which we like and try to make them better. And quite honestly, like if I look my images from 5 years ago, I don't want to say they were horrible, but this is something what I would never do today. So that's something which we are changing. Like it's just a normal part of the process. And I think, and why this is evolved, because I deeply believe, again, I think I'm going to be repeating myself, because we learn, and then we see things differently. We're experimenting, and yeah, we learn from also other people. We implement some other stuff. So again, it's a natural process, and I think like I think that would be a good tip for everyone to just check your own work from like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years, depends how long you've been shooting, and then you will see massive differences in your style and the way you shoot. Okay, so the next question came from Diana. Releasing the entire session of unedited images for actor headshot session. It's very popular here. What is your thought on this? Okay, so releasing images is part of like the entire process, but I think what we have to do, we have to definitely make sure we're doing this properly, and we're not gonna get stabbed in the back at the end of the day. So what I've learned over the last several years, I still want to make sure that my clients see those images from the session, and they can make a decision which images they can choose for the final retouch. But I would never release high resolution unedited images to kind of make them look through. So what I do, I create contact sheets where those images are put on one sheet, and they can digitally look at them and pick the final ones which they really like. And I found this is the best way to do that, because with those contact sheets, the client is not really able to post them or print them or do anything else with them. They mostly just so they can kind of look at them and then pick the final ones. I also give the clients an option that, you know, in the future, if, you know, they have those contact sheets and if they, I don't know, change their mind or they want to edit more, they still can do that. But again, releasing, you know, those images which are unedited and high resolution and just kind of send them as a kind of single file where they can be used, I wouldn't recommend it, because I had situations where, you know, people took them and they print them or they post them, and then it's like, you know, arguing with them and fighting back, and you know, like it brings all sorts of different problems, and you don't want to have that with your clients. It's better, I think, to prevent those things beforehand. So even if the client is kind of like, oh, I want to see them in a bigger resolution, okay, I'll be more than happy to sit down with you and go through them together, but unfortunately I'm not releasing unedited shots, because, you know, like, this is my work. Like, we have to make sure that, you know, people not gonna attach us to something which is, it's kind of like a half product or product which is not ready to go. So they have to understand that. And I think it's another tip is good to put that into their contract, so people know that, you know, that's the process of basically, you know, getting those images and working with them. Okay, so the next question: what is the most effective way to get customer? This is amazing question, and there's sorts of like similar ones. So I'm gonna try to like give you the best advice. The first, and I think that the most effective way to get a client is to do a good job and provide them really stunning and good images. That's the first step. I deeply believe in the advertising, which is word of mouth, where, you know, you do good service, you provide great images, and these people recommend you to someone else. I found this is one of the most effective ways to get the clients, because, you know, if someone recommends you and someone kind of puts good words after you, then, you know, like, the clients is yours. You have to just properly deal with them, and, you know, like, the deal is done. Like, it's just, there's no brainer that, you know, they're gonna go with you. And then that's what is my main focus on getting the clients. And, you know, I think sometimes a lot of photographers, you know, we spend too much time analyzing, oh, you know, we should do more social media, or we should do this. I think the first step, like, we have to have product which we're really proud of, also the product which is speak for itself, and product which, you know, we can really stand behind it and make sure that this is good, because then it's much easier to sell something like this. So that would be the first step. Do really good images, provide good customer service, and provide good, you know, create good relationships with your clients. And even, you know, like, it doesn't have to be paid client. Like, if you, let's say you're starting off and then, you know, like, you have some free photo shoots, just make sure that, you know, like, you're doing a good job, and maybe those people recommend you to someone, right? Like, you just never know. And honestly, like, I'm getting more clients from recommendations that I'm getting from advertising and doing some other stuff. And those are the clients which I found are, you know, like, the deals are always go through. Like, I don't have to bend over and do some, you know, discounts or whatever, or like, you know, some other crazy stuff. Like, if someone tells that, okay, you know, this guy did a good job, like, you're golden, and then, you know, like, you're gonna get another client. And if this kind of network kind of spreads out, you probably might have even 70 to 75% of your clients coming from your recommendations. So that's what I would focus the most, especially when you're starting off. Okay, so the next question came from Derek, and it's, what low budget equipment options are there for amateurs? Okay, so this is also a really interesting question, and, you know, I deeply believe in used equipment. I know for some people that might sound crazy, but I think we're living in the era where, you know, like, you can buy anything for, like, I'm not saying half price, but you can buy used for really discounted price, and you can get really good deals all over the place. I think how I could actually start with this whole thing would be creating the budget, so you know exactly how much money you want to spend, because I think sometimes what happens is people basically like, well, they spend, let's say, I don't know, $2,000 on the body, and they spend, let's say, $500 on the lens because they don't have anything left. So, you know, you have to kind of create the priorities, what is important for you, and then, you know, like how you can budget this whole thing. I would start it with, you know, focusing, and the main and the most important thing in headshot photography, I think it's a lens. That's something which, you know, like I would go, like, I don't want to say spend a lot of money, but pick something which gonna do the work properly. The next thing is the body. You know, like I was even looking at the Nikon D800. Like you can get this camera for about $1,200 to $1,500. So, you know, it's still a lot of money, but, you know, like I wouldn't kind of go with D850, which costs over $4,000. Because, you know, between the D850 and D800, like, you know, especially when you're amateur, you're not going to see the difference. So there's a lot of options out there. I think the good thing would be just do the research, you know, read some reviews. I know I'm just trying to kind of maybe avoid the questions. Like, I don't want to give you the kind of the specifics which equipment you should buy. Like I want to also mention, like I've done 6 months ago a little review on very old lens from Nikon, push and pull, which was 7200, I believe, and that lens was about a couple $100, and the images were just stunning from it, right? So you don't have to pay $3,000 for, you know, like for example, the brand new Nikon 8200 VR3 or whatever. You can get similar stuff used for really you know, good price, and you're going to be able to create stunning images. Okay, so the next question comes from Melissa. What is the best marketing to do that doesn't cost a fortune? So that's another great question, but I think we should ask, well, the question should be kind of constructed a little bit different. There's nothing for free nowadays. You know, you can do a lot of social media, but it's gonna cost you your time. I spend about 3-4 hours a day to do marketing, and even it doesn't cost me money, you know, sitting at the front of the computer and doing tons of different things. But I still have to put that time, and if I would just kind of calculate it at that time when I would do something different, then it's a completely different story, right? So it depends how you look at it. So, you know, it seems like most of those things are free, but you still have to put time into it. Another thing which I have to point it out here is that, like, you have to be consistent with your marketing strategy. Like, you cannot just post one image on social media for free and then expect, you know, you're gonna get 20 clients the next day. That's not gonna happen. Like, you have to literally penetrate everything what you can, and then also adopt to new ideas, new options, new things which you can do to promote yourself. And those things, unfortunately, takes a lot of time just to prepare, you know, different ads on social media, or different posts, or, you know, images, and you just name it. It just takes a lot of time. So I don't want to say, you know, a lot of those things seems like it's cost effective, but it still takes a lot of your time. But, you know, again, depends how much money you want to spend, where you want to be, I would say, visible. You know, which platforms do you want to use? For example, you can do Instagram ads. You know, you can set it up like $5 a day. If they're gonna work, that's another story. Like, you have to test them, you have to try, you know, how you want to approach them, you know, what kind of stuff you want to show, what kind of clients you're after. So there's a lot of logistics behind it. So I think before you even start strategy, what kind of like marketing stuff you're going to be doing, like, you have to answer yourself, you know, what kind of clients you're looking for, where those clients are, how you can find them, how you can actually be at the front of their eyes. So there's a lot of stuff what you have to do prior you even start marketing yourself, so you know exactly where you're going after, and then you have to just execute it step by step. you know, a lot of hours to make this work, and be consistent and keep pushing and keep pushing till you start seeing some results. And sometimes those results, they don't come very quick. You have to just work really hard for a long time to see anything happening, but that's the way it is nowadays, unfortunately. Okay, so the next question came from Stanislav, and he's asking how much difference makes for you deep octa softbox versus normal softbox, which I'm guessing this is the small one. This is gonna be a quick answer. It's gonna take a lot of difference. I used to shoot with the 27 inches octa, and you know, there's something wrong with the images, and then I actually talked to Dylan Patrick and I asked like, hey, there's something wrong with those images, I don't know what the hell is going on. And then he recommended to get the big one, which is the 39 inches for the main light, and it's massive difference. And the difference is that, you know, there's bigger source of lights, which gives you a little bit more, I would say, light and softened lights even more. Also, I found the bigger soft deep octa just wraps the person a little bit better with its light, with its light. And I could see the images were more contrasty, they were more punchy. I could see significant difference between the small octa and big octa. So if you are planning to you know, do headshots professionally, or just, I don't know, as a amateur, and you want a good results, I would definitely go for, especially for the main light, something which at least is 39 inches, because that's the way I'm using, and I can see that, you know, works really well. So the next question came from Livia. Talk about prices, how to get business, how to even price your work, how to know what your work is really worth. So that's a really interesting question. And then, you know, like I could go for hours about, you know, that kind of questions, but I'll try to make it short and also kind of get to the root of this question. So there's a lot of factors which, you know, kind of make your prices. You know, I think the most important thing is the quality of your work, and I talk about it a little bit before. So, you know, if you are really confident that your work is really good and stands out, and you know, like you doing top notch, then you can charge, you know, above average price. There's no question about it. If you're not sure about it, or you're still kind of at the level where, you know, your work's kind of like, you know, it's there but it's not, you know, of course you cannot charge crazy prices because you're not going to get the clients, period. So, you know, it's important thing to find a balance between all those things. Another, I think, important factor is where you live, because, you know, if you're living in New York or LA or some of those big cities, of course you're going to charge more. But if you're living in a little city somewhere, you know, and then, you know, there's a bunch of other photographers who charge, you know, fraction of the price, again, and you're gonna just kind of shoot yourself in your foot because you're not gonna find the client. So it's important to find a balance between all those things. You know, look what your competitions is doing, how much they charging, you know, how their work look like, and then you can compare this stuff to your stuff. You know, if your style match kind of the quality of their work, or you're doing better stuff. And also, I think the best way of seeing this is how much clients go through your hands. So, you know, if you're getting a lot of clients and, you know, like you're overwhelmed with work, then of course that means, you know, like you can just raise the prices because, you know, like you're getting the work. Then might kind of, you might feel that, okay, now it's slowing down a little bit. So then you can just try to do another things playing with the price. So price is not something which is fixed. Like you have to try different things and see what works and what doesn't work. I found that, you know, this price evaluate also with your confidence. That's something which, you know, like if you know that your work stands out and it's better, then you can definitely charge more. But again, there's no, I would say, like a recipe or blueprint that's how much you should charge. You know, you have to look at all those factors. You have to just kind of compare yourself and compare your work to everybody else who was in this area. and then based on that try to come up with the price and play with it with the time and see if it works or it doesn't work. I think that's the best way to do that, and that's how I work with my pricing of my work. Okay, so the last question is from Alice. It's about posing an expression for heavy and older clients. Okay, so when it comes to posing heavy or older clients, that doesn't change anything. Like, I do pretty much everything the same for most of my clients. And there's some other videos which I think I can direct you to kind of show you exactly what I'm talking about. But when it comes to the face expression, when it comes to, again, older or heavy people, that applies the same thing. Like, you have to, kind of create something which gonna speaks out, something which gonna show their emotions. They're gonna show something interesting in their faces. So I don't really see that there's any difference if you have, I don't know, model, or you have some good-looking person, or you have someone who is overweight, or someone who is older. That's kind of the same thing to everybody, applies to everybody kind of the same way. Okay, so that was all the questions. I think that vlog is really long. I hope that was even interesting, and I hope you guys get the answers you guys were expecting to get, or you guys get something which is valuable for you. Yeah, we'll be doing this at least once a month. So again, if you guys have any additional questions or something which is not clear still enough, please feel free to shoot me an email or contact me, and I'll try to answer those things on more one-on-one kind of like way than kind of going through those stuff on my vlog. So I wish you guys fantastic week. I hope that was interesting. Stay tuned, and I'll chat with you guys very soon. Bye bye.